You'll be right here.
"637 days ago, San Diego FC was announced as the 30th team in Major League Soccer. Today, as we have kickoff, our first chance to get an eyes on the newest team in Major League Soccer. Adam Sussman joined by Glenn Crooks. Glenn, plenty of new on display here at the Coachella Valley Invitational.
Well, it's wonderful to see this 30th team in MLS and see how they develop under Mikey Varis. And meanwhile, New York City playing their second game here at Coachella, their third of the preseason. And they are giving a couple of young players a golden opportunity to show their wares, including in the midfield next to Keaton Park's Johnny Shore. Watch that one closely.
NYCFC, as predicted, wearing a sky blue kit, attacking from right to left across your screen, while San Diego FC on the ball right now in their whites, attacking from left to right. A big fan contingency to see this man right now, Chucky Lozano, the Mexican legend DP, plays the ball to the top of the box. First shot on target and collected by Matt Freese.
Anders Dreyer has a lethal left peg. I watched a 10-minute highlight of him this morning that was sent to me by my broadcast partner back home. And with the left peg, he can be lethal. That one he just spun right at the keeper, Freese.
Dreyer, one of many players from Scandinavia in this San Diego FC project. NYCFC on attack with their leading goal scorer last year, Alonso Martinez, takes one touch too heavy but tiptoes the line, running towards the box. 16 goals last year. Is this another assist? And a good chip out by number 97, Christopher McVeigh. The physical, fast, and tall center back clears it away for the first corner of the game.
Alonso Martinez maybe taking advantage of Alejandro Alvarado Jr., who's a midfielder by trade, but due to injuries and really a lack of depth. That's one area Tyler Heaps, the general manager, told us prior to the game that they're kind of looking towards is at the back. So he's at right back. Alonso Martinez got around the edge and drew this corner kick.
NYCFC coming off a successful 2024, making the second round of the playoffs. 8 of 10 years they have made the postseason. San Diego hoping to achieve similar to what New York City has in their first decade of existence. Hannes Wolf takes the corner towards the back post, too high for the crowd, and outside of the 18. Trying to defend from the front as Thomas Angel can't get there, and another clear header away. Chucky Lozano picks it up on the near side, gets a player to fall, gives it over the fellow DP Dreyer, who has the pace but not the strength. Good defending by NYCFC.
And that's Nick Cavallo, one of the youngsters I was referring to earlier, 23 years old, graduate student at UCLA a season ago. He was a draft pick for New York City, 88th overall, and now he's got this start in place of Kevin O'Toole, who's inactive today. No immediate word as to whether that's just rest or there might be a knock. Didn't appear like anything happened in the first game against Sporting KC. But Cavallo's showing well in his initial opportunity against Dreyer.
Glenn, we talked to Sporting Director Tyler Heaps before the game. They emphasized playing out from the back as San Diego caught offside there. And we've seen that already a few minutes into the affair.
Yeah, there's a style that they're trying to mimic throughout their global network within the Right to Dream Academy. And I thought what was very interesting that he said was in terms of their recruiting, they're looking at Denmark because that's one of their sister clubs there. and 2 players from a club there are on their current roster and contributing, including their front runner, their center forward. But Denmark and Africa, not really looking at South America because it doesn't really fit what their coaching staff can train.
Keaton Parks on the ball, switches the point of attack over to Gray, who started in the MLS Cup final back in 2021 as an 18-year-old, still plenty young. Falls to the peg of Martinez, with the most goals by a City player since 2021. Cleared away from the 6, but not out of the danger yet. San Diego FC is their first game that is being broadcasted. Thanks for joining us. Taken away within the box, plenty of men for the opportunity, and slips wide of the post. Martinez will want that one back.
16 a season ago for Alonso Martinez, and New York City fans, I'm sure as they watch this, they're looking at Bakrar playing center forward, Monsef Bakrar, and Alonso Martinez playing a wing. At the beginning of the year last year, in fact here at Coachella, that was the way it was set up. Martinez on the wing and Bakrar as the striker, but Martinez ended up scoring 16 goals in 2024, a majority of them from the center forward position. He won the job from Bakrar. Now you see Pascal Janssen, the first-year coach, is trying to see if they can play together in an effective way. It'll be interesting to watch.
Both yet to hit their prime. Bakrar just 24 years old, the Algerian, wearing 2 caps, including his debut in 2024. He's a talented forward, has a lot of moves in the bag, but the goal scoring just hasn't quite been there yet. 7 goals from 38 games.
Well, no, he's been a 1 goal every 5 games player for New York City. They had hoped he'd be closer to 1 goal every 2 matches in their recruitment of Monsef Bakrar. So in terms of the frequency, it's been disappointing. No one has questioned his work ethic and what he does at the top of the press and how well he defends the central defenders for the opponent.
Here's Alvarado, a midfielder by trade, but donning at right back today. Puts in a cross that's a bit heavy, but Chucky Lozano shows the pace to get there. The former Napoli man on the line, not out of play. He wanted a corner. Instead, it will stay San Diego ball, all 22 in the attacking third. Urchess on the periphery. Bounces in front of Freeze, and the 2024 New York City Player of the Year grabs it.
Well, Matt Freeze emerged after getting an opportunity to be the number 1. He was always behind Andre Blake with the Philadelphia Union. The irony of that is in the Eastern Conference Final in 2021, Blake couldn't play because of COVID. Freeze was in goal against what is now his current team. New York City won the MLS Cup by winning that game, and then Portland.
New York have favored the left side of attack. Risa, the center back, plays quarterback and gets things going underway again. New York with the superior chances thus far, a few minutes into the affair, with Gray yet again. Chucky Lozano, the spearhead of the press, and now San Diego able to have a breather. San Diego lining up in a 4-3-3 formation. In net, the young CJ Dos Santos, who was the backup to Drake Callender last year. A back line with the center backs of Paddy McNair, the longtime Middlesbrough player who came through the Manchester United Academy. Will partner Christopher McVeigh, who was signed last month from DC United for about $100K in general allocation money. At left back, another former Inter Miami player in Franco Negri, who was selected not in the expansion draft, but the MLS re-entry. In midfield, the name to look for, Ipe Tverskov. From Copenhagen, Denmark, one of several players on this roster signed from sister club FC Nordsjælland.
And Tyler Heaps made it quite clear also in speaking to him that it's not a coincidence. That is literally a sister club, Right to Dream Academy. It's a wonderful setup for this expansion side. The academy not quite yet underway, but it'll be fully funded. It'll have classrooms, so it's an academy situation and a full-time living arrangement. There's nothing like that in MLS. So San Diego is really a burgeoning academy.
Danger within the 18, but Anibal Godoy, the MLS veteran, able to get out of it. San Diego troubling defensively, and then New York City with another chance, but this game stays scoreless. CJ Dos Santos had his heart skip a beat, but didn't ultimately have to make the dive.
Well, we see Hannes Wolf back in the lineup. He had been nursing an injury himself. New York City has several players who are idle today. We'll go through that in a moment.
So much new about San Diego, Glenn, but we got to talk about New York as well. Your neck of the woods, of course, a new head coach in Janssen. What have you seen from him just a few weeks into his tenure?
Well, he had his first presser a couple of days ago. I had flown in and was able to sit in and listen to him and chat with him for a little bit. I think the emphasis that David Lee, the sporting director who spoke first, put on Pascal Janssen and what his effectiveness is in developing the younger player. He had a very good record of doing that at AZ Alkmaar, where Alkmaar is sort of the same sort of model as New York City FC, or they're modeled after each other in that they're looking to develop young players and then sell them on. I mean, that seems to be the way, and Janssen has been effective in that department.
New York going at it yet again, and a great last-ditch block.
Well, Dos Santos timed that, leaving the line to come out and snuff Monsef Bakrar.
That was Christopher McVeigh on the block. Center back definitely deserves credit for that one. A Leagues Cup champion back in 2023 with Miami. It will not be a corner. It will be a throw-in for New York on the far side.
But that's an example of the opportunity or opportunities that Bakrar gets and is unable to convert. We give credit on the defensive side as well, but there are situations like how he got in there, what he did to get himself in position to finish, but then comes up empty.
Pascal Janssen, the new head coach for NYCFC, signed through 2028. Plenty of European experience, as Glenn mentioned, with AZ Alkmaar, and most recently with Ferencvárosi in Budapest, Hungary. Takes over from Nick Cushing, who departed in November 2024.
Well, that's huge, and what's happening in the midfield, Justin Hack started against Sporting KC alongside Keaton Parks, and now Hack has moved to the back, where he proved to earn a starting role at the end of the season and through the playoffs in place of Burke Risa. So he was next to Thiago Martins. Now Martins is one of the players inactive again. Martinez has not played 1 minute of the preseason as of yet. Pascal Janssen said it was a calf injury when I asked him before the first match here at Coachella. Kevin O'Toole, Strahinja Tanasiewicz, Andres Pereira, Santi Rodriguez, and Malachi Jones all inactive today. Of course, we should address the social media post that suggests that Santi Rodriguez and Botafogo are somehow connected and that the transfer fee is $15 million. I don't know if that's real. It doesn't sound right to me. But if David Lee made that transaction, to me it would be good business.
Martinez on the ball. Overlap to Cavallo. Dealt with by Verskov, wearing the captain's armband, number 6. The 31-year-old central defensive midfielder. His assistant coach with FC Nordsjælland a year ago was Michael Essien, a man who knows a thing or two about playing that number 6 role.
Not a bad guy to be tutored.
Verskov gets chopped down in midfield by Keaton Parks. Verskov's been a San Diego player for quite some time, was signed back in March 2024. But with 5 teams over 14 years in Denmark, brings more experience internationally than any other on the roster. But Anibal Godoy probably has him beat in total amount of games played. 494 total if you include international.
Well, Well, that's a solid acquisition for San Diego in the midfield, no question. That's where you need leadership. You need the player who can certainly keep his teammates positive, working hard. He's got a mentality.
San Diego has a sample size of it, but how important is previous MLS experience for an expansion team?
It's massive. Like, you've got, if you just look at left back, Negri's over there, and the number of players that have been able to experience the travel considerations, the different climates, all that is vital. So part of MLS experience isn't just how the game is played in MLS, which is kind of all over the place depending on what franchise, but it's all the other elements playing here in the United States.
San Diego living in the defensive third. Godoy, Verskov. Good line-breaking pass over to Dreyer, and the right wing DP doesn't return the favor, going the ball further up and taken away.
Well, you can see one thing Mikey Varas is doing. He's got Dreyer pinching in, trying to create an overload in the midfield, and then he's got an overlapping Alvarado Jr., a young man who is certainly used to attacking a little bit more, but from the center of the field as a midfielder, but he's been forced into that right back role today, but he's looking to get forward here on the near touchline.
Ball from distance will be catching practice for CJ Dos Santos. Good stature to him, 6'4", just 24 years old. Haven't seen much in an attacking sense from San Diego thus far. Matt Freese had to save about 30 seconds into the affair, but since, it's been all the boys in blue.
Yeah, the shot by Dreyer right at the keeper, and really not much velocity, and he had it on his favored left. I would imagine he'll get another opportunity at some point.
Cavallo, who's the 88th overall pick in the most recent MLS Super Draft, standing tall at left back so far. Good takeaway by Lozano. Excuse me, that was Negri. Lozano further up. Dos Santos arrows it to his left. Verskov puts his studs on the ball and thinks. See number 10, Dreyer, who's usually a winger, play as more of a number 10 so far. Help link play. This is a group of 50, 60 strangers that only came together last month for the first time. Have had about 15, 16 training sessions, 2 games against USL sides that were behind closed doors, and now at last, their fans who have been waiting for this moment for a year and a half plus are finally getting their first look at the team.
And many of them have showed up. Off to our right, the supporter section for San Diego, flags waving, and I would imagine you're able to hear it on the broadcast.
Their first official game in Major League Soccer, not an easy one against the LA Galaxy. Chucky Lozano, chest down into the box, brings it on his right, but the flag is raised in the Palm Springs sky.
Well, this is a good, fun matchup to watch. Tavon Gray is one of the best defenders in Major League Soccer, and Irving Chucky Lozano, well, his pedigree is, it's crazy. And his dynamic nature as an attacking player. So to be able to watch those two go at it. How about Pachuca, PSV, Napoli, now San Diego for Lozano, and the Mexican international has scored goals at every level.
Still just 29 years old, the man of the moment, Chucky Lozano tries to square it over to Dreyer. Perhaps maybe a bit too unselfish, will result in a corner for San Diego.
Now this time getting in behind Justin Hack as he was pinched. Hack playing right central defense next to Burke Risa in this one for New York City. And Hack recovered just in time to be able to deflect that square ball. It is a corner, but Hack, that was a pretty important intervention.
Justin Hack, who's been a reliable squad player, made his pro debut with NYCFC when he was just 17 years old as a homegrown. San Diego go on the short corner play, feed it into the 6, and the first goal of the Coachella Valley Invitational for San Diego. That strike belongs to Paddy McNair. The Northern Irishman gets it started for the Southern California side.
Well, he was one of the early signings for San Diego McNair. Northern Ireland International, 29 years old, so he's in his prime, played 198 games for Middlesbrough, so he's got that kind of experience. But look at him in front of the goal. Now, we sometimes will see defenders come up, have those kind of opportunities, and it's over the bar. Not McNair, under the crossbar, and a 1-0 lead for San Diego.
Yeah, just had a look at the replay. If McNair's not scoring that, there's about 3 other contenders that probably could have.
Which you then have to question the defensive set piece and corner kick work for New York City FC. That one goes into the clips section to figure that out.
Pascal Janssen will certainly have something to work on before their next game on Wednesday. Godoy flips it out wide to Negri. Chucky Lozano comes short to help. Verskov plays it to the back line. McNair making himself an option. Instead, it'll go to CJ Dos Santos. This is great build-up from San Diego. Breezing past the sky blue jerseys. Dreyer has the overlap out right. Alvarado, first-time cross. Can't get back to Dreyer. And NYCFC elude danger this time around. Verskov using his physicality and will win a set piece in about the same area that they crossed to score from the corner.
Yeah, this one is difficult sometimes for the keeper to just sort out when to come, when to hold. We'll see where New York City sets up their defensive line. It looks like it's just going to be the top of the 18. By the way, Paddy McNair has 7 goals in his 73 international appearances, and he had 14 in those 198 appearances for Middlesbrough. So he's comfortable in front of goal.
Will it be a set piece threat again? It's on the bottom of your screen, number 17. Dreyer on the delivery. Official making sure everything's organized. This ball a bit lower towards the back post yet again, but a smidge overcooked.
Well, that's a good spot because you see Freeze took one step forward for a moment and then kind of backed and got balance as that ball skipped through. So that's a difficult one behind the D in front of the keeper. Really well played, and San Diego didn't take advantage.
Maxi Morales can't squeak it by Alvarado. Morales, 37 years old, the 5'3" man who stands like a giant on the pitch.
Here, Maxi Morales, as he did against Sporting KC in the opener, leading the front line in terms of the press coming out of his attacking midfield role. And in the past, and if there's one little tweak that I've noticed thus far, is Maxi was not normally, he would press, but he wouldn't be in front of the striker, Bakrar, a season ago. So how that adjustment occurs, be a good thing to talk about with the coach.
Morales just gets the ball out of his feet, caught in the laces of Martinez for a moment, that tries to curl it, and CJ Dos Santos somehow gets his chest. A sprinting boy in blue was going on to the ball. Another look at that and see if the NYCFC attacker Bakrar actually got a touch to it. I don't think he did, Glenn.
But there's Bakrar again off the ball, good movement, gets into a good position. The finished product lacking again. Not an easy chance, but a striker's finish, and that's what Pascal Janssen is going to have to determine along the way in terms of Bakrar. Does he reserve in the number 9 spot for Alonso Martinez? Does he beat Martinez out? Or do they figure out how they might best play together?
As we trickle into the 24th minute on San Diego's first game at the Coachella Valley Invitational, the second for NYCFC. At least on paper, this San Diego roster, the 11 that they've put out, it looks pretty similar to what you may see on February 23rd visiting the LA Galaxy for their first game in Major League Soccer. Their first home match at Snapdragon Stadium in lovely San Diego will come a week later on the 1st, hosting the most recent expansion side before San Diego's St. Louis. Here's Dreyer on the ball, their DP signing, brings it onto his left foot, clips it over, and past the white post. A great run, had 95% of the work done. Then the finishing product just not there.
Well, Dreyer now with two good opportunities. That one was more clear-cut, and that's where 6'3" keeper comes out off his line, makes himself big, cuts down the angle a little bit, and Dreyer tried to be too precise and missed the target.
San Diego's been getting behind the lines, though. Here's New York's turn. Quick cross deflected by Negri. Spent most of his professional career in Argentina before moving over to Inter Miami. Here's Baccarar. CJ Dos Santos gets a paw to it and sends it away. Baccarar gets his own rebounds. Flirts with the corner flag. Gray keeps it alive. Here's Tavon Gray. Maxi Morales, sliding challenge.
Good combination interplay by New York City. Unable, though, to spring that final pass in for a shot. Baccarar, another outstanding opportunity. Now, high criticism. Would he be able to maybe nod that ball towards the back post rather than the first post? And would that result in a goal? Another thing to look at. I think I'm going to have fun rewatching this game.
1-0 in the 26th minute, and there's been plenty of chances. It feels like we got more in it. Rash challenge by Keaton Parks, the 27-year-old midfielder. Throws out a hand in terms of sportsmanship, and we continue. Lozano, who we've touched on a few times this broadcast, but worth bringing up his goal-scoring record. 4 major trophies and 67 goals in his 7 years abroad. And that's not including his incredible stint with Pachuca as a youngster. Martinez. Parks gets down on the return from Morales to the UCLA man Cavallo. Not his best cross.
Yeah, that was always going to get claimed by CJ Dos Santos. But Alonso Martinez received the ball. Wonderful pass from Hannes Wolf. Far side of the field, split the defenders, and he was 1 versus 1 against a guy that is not necessarily that comfortable in those wide areas defending, Alvarado Jr., and he gives up the ball. There was not a second defender very close. To me, I want to see Alonso Martinez take him on, draw the center back, and now something else could happen for New York City.
Glenn, last year in preseason, did you see anything from Martinez that suggested 16 goals was on the way in the regular season?
Not really. All we kept hearing from the coaching team is that he is a tremendous finisher in training. But I'll tell you one thing that happened here at Coachella, which kind of started to stimulate it. He, at one point, moved into the number 9 role for Baccarar because there was not a reserve. Jovan Mijatovic had not yet arrived on the scene, and now he's no longer on the scene. He's been loaned to Leuven. So Baccarar came in, when Baccarar had to sit and rest and not play all the major minutes, it was Martinez who made the move to the inside, and you still didn't really see it at that moment, but that's where it all started.
Cavallo usually played right back for UCLA, but playing left back for NYC today. McVeigh.
And they need, that is New York City, a reserve left back.
Baccarar dances on the ball. Gives it to his partner, Johnny Shore. Jansen spoke highly of him after the first game at Coachella. On the overlap, right in front, and a easy finish inside the 6. Levels the thing up. That was Alonso Martinez, the man we were talking about moments ago. His first goal of preseason for New York City.
Well, Tavon Gray with the underlap, and that's what set this in motion. Gray had 7 assists in 2024. One of the massive improvements in his game, and I spoke earlier about he's one of the best defending fullbacks in Major League Soccer. Well, he's really advanced the attacking side of things. And that service across the face of goal with a lot of pace, tough to handle, and like you said, just a tap in for Martinez in the right spot, framing the back post.
He almost overran it. He was practically in the netting when he had the finish, but 1-1 is 1-1. Here we go.
nice build-up, too, for New York City FC. Once they got into the attacking third, they went through a midfielder to make the switch, Johnny Shore, to get it to the right side of the field. Hannes Wolf underlapping Gray. Ball played across Alonso Martinez goal. I'm sure that's the way Pascal Janssen would like to see it.
Bacrar a stride and a half away. Poor giveaway by CJ Dos Santos. New York City right back on the break and makes up for it on a save low into his left.
Now, Hannes Wolf, for the most part, he's going to make every effort to get it to the left peg, and he was permitted to do that and get the shot off, so beware San Diego backline, Negri in particular.
New York City fans used to seeing Hannes Wolf played all 34 games in his first season in the Bag Apple. 5 goals, 8 assists, third on the team in terms of goal contributions from a more midfielder spot, obviously, than the attackers, the two in front of him. Wolf on the delivery. Dos Santos uses his frame. Thinks about the long pitch out to Chucky Lozano, who was hungry for it. Thomas Angel, who's playing the number 10 role, though more traditionally playing a striker like a number 9. We're talking to Tyler Heaps, their sporting director, before the game, saying he's earned that opportunity to play in the number 10. Haven't seen Angel on the ball too much. Here he is right now inside the center circle.
Well, New York City, one of the reasons that they have curtailed some of the opportunities that were given up earlier to San Diego, and one which led to a corner kick and a goal, they're keeping the ball in a very rhythmic and extensive way when they get back on it. And certainly possession is one of your best defenders, and New York City is making that very clear.
Maxi Morales feeds a pass just a few inches behind. Otherwise, it could have been 2-1 City. Slipping on the through ball, but it may just be perfect for Angel. Bercarisa, the center back who often partnered Thiago Martins last year on the deflection. Amongst the chaos, there was an offside. A corner.
Risa did well to come in and slide and tackle that away. It does result in a corner kick, but it's really one of the more difficult balls for a defender as they're chasing backwards towards their own goal. That ball curled beautifully behind the defense and nearly led to a break.
San Diego went short last time. This time, a direct option. Punched away by Freeze. First time delivery, McVeigh. Good cross by the center back, but Freeze skies high just outside of his 6 to make the save.
Freeze was particularly determined to make sure that nobody got to that ball first but him, and did very well to just palm it away and outside of the danger area. And now New York City will control again.
2024, easily the best year of Freeze's professional career. Finished 3rd in MLS in saves and 4th in save percentage with 6 clean sheets total. And perhaps the highlight of his career, the PK victory against Cincinnati in round 1.
Well, I said after that match, a trophy now needs to go in front of the new stadium in 2027 when you make multiple saves in the shootout and lead your team to victory. That was just something Tony DeChico, the late Tony DeChico, told me years ago.
Yeah,
got to be a statue.
Shades of Sean Johnson in 2021 at Providence Park.
That's right.
Winning MLS Cup.
Now, you're not going to lament that because you're a Portland guy, are you?
No, no.
Okay.
It was my first year in the city. I didn't really know what I was talking about.
All right.
San Diego trying to follow what many expansion teams have done in recent years. Of course, you think about St. Louis in 2023 finishing as the 1 seed in their first year of existence. And they're here to compete. Tyler Heaps has said on several occasions the parameters have been set to make the playoffs. Godoy over to Dreyer. Angel splits through a double team. Verskov. Sure, it's nice playing in the California sun compared to Denmark this time of year.
Yeah, and one thing that's happening with Alvarado Jr. getting in on this right side where Dreyer's tucked, it's forcing Alonso Martinez at times to drop in and defend. And therefore, New York City wins the ball, and he's not along the last line, which is really his greatest effectiveness, is getting behind the defense. So New York City, that's a communication, rotation, different ways to handle that. You don't always want your winger to drop back when the fullback could more successfully take him. But it's that Dreyer going into the middle that's adding a little bit of confusion to New York City.
So first match coming in 2 weeks and a day for San Diego against the defending champions, Los Angeles Galaxy. We talked about how St. Louis had such a good year one. That's not always the case. As here's San Diego on attack again. Risa just got there in time to put it off the path. Parks to Cavallo. Evades some studs. Good build-up by Cavallo, and Maxi Morales tangled up and taken down. First yellow card of the affair assigned to Alvarado.
Cavallo, you could look at him now. He feels bad about that pass. It didn't have enough weight. It was, if you want to call it the proverbial hospital ball. You could see that coming a month ago, that Morales was going to get tangled, but he's up and okay.
Alvarado from Los Angeles came through the LA Galaxy Academy before going to play in Portugal. The man who just earned the yellow card. He's had a 2-year deal with San Diego and has club control for 1 season after that. A kick against his momentum by Freeze. Doesn't make the halfway line. Dreyer opens up the boot to Chucky Lozano. The two DPs linking up. Anibal Godoy, a back heel pass, a smart one to Alvarado. Lozano finds his way inside the 18. Can't clip it properly, and on the clearance, Risa collided with Ingvartsen.
Well, Risa went down about an hour into the first match here at Coachella with what appeared to be a thigh injury, but he came back okay, taking no chances. And this time it was maybe a knee to knee.
Good build-up on the periphery of the 18, but the ultimate cross wasn't there for San Diego. Playing over the top, aiming for Baccarar is New York City. Morales picks up the scraps. Shooting opportunity. Dos Santos makes himself a wall. That was Gray getting way up the pitch there, Glenn.
Well, that's the design of the attack. Fullbacks in when possible, and you notice that Cavallo on the ball now. As Gray was in deep, he was holding his position, rest defense, in the event of a counterattack so that he didn't leave Risa and Hack all by themselves against what were 2 attacking players. Lozano, one of them.
Tavon Gray, just 22 years old, which seems improbable considering he's been a first-team regular since 2021. Started MLS Cup as an 18-year-old. He's got 11 career assists, 7 coming last year, so the creative side of his game blossoming. Here's Chucky Lozano. He's onside this time around. Goes with the audacious chip. But the only fans who will be happy is the young man who got the ball.
Well, that's a good recognition. High line, New York City. Lozano, more pace than Justin Hack. Hack was flat-footed and square upfield. Lozano facing the New York City goal, so that was an easy run for him, except it was Burke Risa who recovered, and now New York City with a chance.
Morales had a chance to throw it on target. CJ Dos Santos, the keeper for San Diego, well outside of his box. Instead, try to arrow it towards Alonso on the left. Dreyer. Angel. Number 9 for San Diego. Throws in a sliding challenge. No yellow shown, despite Hack on the ground. We've talked a lot about Dreyer. We've talked a lot about Chucky Lozano. Not much so far about Marcus Ingvartsen, another high-level player they've brought over from Scandinavia, a proven left-footed striker who's really strong aerially. We haven't seen him get involved too much in build-up. He's number 7, if you're watching on your screen.
Now, both Mikey Varas and Tyler Hips lauded his training ethic and also his finishing ability and how he did in the first 2 scrimmage against the USL sides. He's a guy that scored a goal between every 2 and 3 matches at Nordsjælland, so he's got the knack.
Alonso, back post, goal. NYCFC, just like that, a clinical run by Alonso. He may have scored 16 goals last year, but the assists are just as impressive. 2-1 New York City.
So Bakrar with his 4th good opportunity, and he finishes this one just a couple of yards from goal. But it was Alonso Martinez. We mentioned it early on, Adam, that Alvarado Jr. here at right back, not used to defending in that position. Martinez took advantage, got around the edge again. That was free service, and then Bakrar timed his run on goal.
That one not as easy of a finish as the first goal for New York City. Bakrar had that ball coming about hip height, as you see on your replay seconds ago, and just taps it in with his right boot, using it as a backboard. For San Diego, how do they respond with just 5 minutes remaining plus stoppage time in half number 1? Not uncommon at Coachella to have a whole change, new 11 between the 45s. We'll see if San Diego and head coach Mikey Veras treat it that way.
Meanwhile, New York City, they're a little bit more ahead of the game in terms of time spent on the pitch in competitive matches. They will try to stretch some of the legs of their starters.
That's a good point, Glenn. And while it's a new head coach, the core of this New York team is pretty much still together. Of course, James Sands is gone in Germany as Chucky Lozano winds up a shot at the near post. But back to the boys in blue. A pretty similar 11. Not many additions, not many subtractions this offseason.
No, the big subtraction is James Sands in the midfield. Christian McFarlane went to Man City, but he played limited minutes at left back. It was Kevin O'Toole mostly, except when he was injured. McFarlane came in. And then Jovan Mijatovic played very little as a striker. So there are 3 positions or 3 roster spots open. David Lee, the sporting director, made that clear in his presser, his first presser of the year a few days ago. But you're right, it's pretty much the same group. But now with a new coach, it's a new life for maybe some players who didn't play the minutes that they had hoped. And for those who played a lot of minutes, they have to prove themselves.
Here comes San Diego, trying to level this game up. Dreyer was an option on the pass, and New York City, a strong tackle from behind.
Hack coming in from behind, but it looked clean to me.
New York City top 10 defensively in Major League Soccer a season ago, giving up just 49 goals in 34 matches. Tavon Gray, a reason for it. Played 27 of the matches, but there was quite the competition for right back last year, Glenn.
It was between Micha Ilinic and Tavon Gray, and I think that battle is ensuing. Ilinic started the first one here at Coachella against Sporting KC. Now it's Tavon Gray. So the coach needs to see both of them at length to the extent that he can.
Risa up to Alonso. Excuse me. We go over to Keaton Parks.
Saw very little of a pivot like that in the opener against Sporting KC, something that I know Pascal Janssen would like to see more of.
San Diego ball, bombarded within their own defensive third. Give it instruction to go further back. It's been an entertaining game so far, and the attendance in abundance for a preseason match. The first showing for San Diego.
Well, it makes sense. The biggest turnouts, we've been here from the start. LA Galaxy, LAFC, and now San Diego. They are the most reasonable of the trips you could make here to Indio, California.
Martinez shows off a few step overs and then an impressive change of play. Towards the back post, player down, impressive volley, but high over the bar. CJ Dos Santos was certainly beat as next turned the other way as there was a goal on field 1, but they almost missed the third for New York City over here.
Yeah, the shake of the head from Alonso Martinez. Again, playing left wing with Monsef Bakrat, the striker. And Tavon Gray, there's an example of the improved quality of service. Just a great bending ball to the back post, perfectly placed. And you'd have to look back on it and say, should have been finished.
A minute away from half. Vartson hacks there first. Fighting for it in midfield well is New York. And Hannes Wolf wins possession.
Back to Tavon Gray, Bronx kid, first homegrown from the Bronx, which was where everybody thought the soccer-specific stadium not that long ago was going to end up. But it is in Queens, next to Citi Field. It's going to be a beautiful complex.
New York City finished as the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference last year, defeated Cincinnati in round 1. San Diego hoping to get into the playoffs in year number 1. Challenge that just caught a New York City player on the edge of the box. That foul was by Tomas Angel. That last name sounds familiar. He's the son of Juan Pablo Angel, legendary MLS player. 33 caps for the Colombia national team.
Well, this is a chance for Justin Hack, Keaton Parks. Players that are very good in the air, but limited goals in their careers. Just one for Hack, in fact. Burke Riesel also in the mix.
Morales on the delivery, Dos Santos on the punch. Could just about be the last attack of half number 1. New York City trying to push the envelope, and the whistle goes. 2-1 NYCFC lead the number 30 expansion team in Major League Soccer, San Diego FC. We're going to jump out to break. When we come back, we'll have highlights, schedule, and much more from the Coachella Valley Invitational. NYCFC, San Diego FC, a beautiful day in Indio, California. Scoreline currently 2-1 in favor of the East Coast side. Goals coming for NYCFC from Martinez, their top goal scorer a season ago, as well as Bakrar, which would currently be the game winner if the scoreline stood. But there's been a lot of chances. San Diego actually got on the scoreboard first from a corner set piece, put it in the back of the net from an unlikely candidate, Patty McNair. 2-1, Citizens on top. Lots more soccer left to come. Stick with us. MLS Day 2 at the Coachella Valley Invitational. One match in the books thus far. Austin FC and St. Louis City SC, two contenders in the Western Conference, played to a 1-1 draw that finished about 30 minutes ago. Our match at halftime right now, San Diego FC, the expansion side, facing NYCFC, 2-1 on top in favor of New York. At 1:30 p.m. local time, so Pacific, San Jose battles with the New York Red Bulls, the reigning Eastern Conference champions, and the final game of the afternoon will be the Portland Timbers and Greg Berhalter's Chicago Fire, two teams with many new additions and hoping to get back into the respective conferences' playoff pictures. We'll go out to break, and when we come back, we'll get you highlights and more from the Coachella Valley Invitational. Welcome back to Indio, California at the Polo Grounds for the Coachella Valley Invitational, the third year of this great preseason tournament. Adam Sussman joined by Glenn Crooks. We're going to take a look at the highlights from the first half. NYCFC a chance early on.
Yeah, there were some good chances. That was Hannes Wolf. Wolf created for Monsef Bakrar, sliding tackle McVeigh to deny Bakrar, who eventually would get one.
Chucky Lozano had a shooting opportunity, tried to square it over to Dreyer, but probably should have took the shot with his left foot.
Drew the corner kick nonetheless. It was a short corner, and it resulted in this for McKnight.
The DP, Chucky Lozano, linking up with one of the first signings for this club, Patty McNair, who grabs the goal and the 1-0 lead for San Diego FC, though it was short-lived as NYCFC scored just a few moments later, but Chucky Lozano one more chance before that.
Just a recovery just in time by Burke Risa to perhaps alter, with also Matt Freese coming off his line. Maxi Morales starting this one.
Bakrar not there in time to level it up at 1-1 apiece, but ultimately his side were able to get the leveler.
And there's Tavon Gray, underlap. Keeper Dos Santos just couldn't hang on. Obviously, the ball redirected right into the path of Alonso Martinez, who opened the scoring for New York City. And then the second goal, Monsef Bakrar, a gift from Alonso Martinez, who got around the edge and created the service.
Yeah, obviously a 2-1 scoreline for NYCFC right now at current. You're still seeing the highlights on your screen. And it's been a great first half of action. We'll see if there will be wholesale changes for half number 2, or if San Diego FC sticks with a pretty strong 11, at least on paper. Adam Sussman, Glenn Crooks will be with you here for the entire second 45 between NYCFC and San Diego FC. Stay with us. We'll be back in a jiff.
No, but 45 minutes? Chucky's coming after the game. Yeah, he's Chucky! He's gonna come right now. What? Chucky's gonna sign it. He's gonna come right now after the game. Yeah, he said he's gonna come. Is he signing it? Yeah. 45 minutes now? Chuck, go look for other people. Hey, guys, did you get the other signatures? Awesome. The others, yeah. Yeah, me too. Yeah, no, he said it. Chucky! Hey, Chucky Lozano! Hey, Chucky Lozano! Hey, Chucky Lozano! Hey, Chucky Lozano! Hey, Chucky Lozano!
Second half of action, moments away between NYCFC and San Diego FC. The Citizens from out east have a 2-1 lead over San Diego. They were down 1-0 early in this one, but goals from Alonso Martinez and Bakrar gave them the lead. So, Glenn, not many changes in half number 2. Kind of an oddity so far at the Coachella Valley Invitational.
Yeah, both coaches electing to push through here in the second half. No changes on either side.
I think there's one for San Diego. We
Okay.
got Valakari, number 8, coming into play that kind of central attacking midfielder role, and he'll likely take out Tomas Angel. I do not see the number 9 kid in white out there. So the Finnish international comes into the picture. He's on loan from Cypriot side Paphos where he's been since 2020. And San Diego, of course, have him on loan for the year, and then a $1.5 million buy option if they want him to stick around a few years longer.
Well, I will confirm no changes on the New York City side. Good work. Last match, Pascal Janssen was wanted to push a majority of his starters through an hour. It'd still be doubtful if somebody went the full 90.
Get a better look on the near side now of Tavon Gray, who had a strong half number 1. He's been getting involved in the attack. One of the best homegrowns that NYCFC has to offer. A regular starter since he was 18 years old.
And Chucky Lozano going against Gray. He did get one golden opportunity in the opening half. Otherwise, Gray did a beyond admirable job against the Mexican international.
Negri. Valakari. And the Finn gives it back to the Argentine left back, Verskov. McNair takes his turn, and Anibal Godoy, good build-up play. Gets past Gray. Valakari puts it into a dangerous area and tossed aside.
Valakari, you could see his movement off the ball and how he created that. Just saw a little seam, accelerated into it, and the pass was delivered well. Already making his mark.
San Diego sporting director, when Valakari came in, said he's an elegant player in the final third. Excited to see some of that elegance on display. He's likely got 45 minutes in him. City going the other way with Martinez on the far flank. Maxi Morales and Baccarar options in the box. On the overlap, first time cross. Too far behind for Baccarar and too far in front for Morales.
Oh, Keith Park started that really well with a first time half volley to go square. Ended up getting out to Cavallo. How about Cavallo? Plays the ball and then continues his run, gets it on the overlap. Good delivery in front. Nearly the third goal for New York City.
Johnny Shore fouled Valakari as he was attempting a one-man breakout. McVeigh. A bit heavy for Alvarado, but the fullback gets there. Dreyer. Alvarado yet again, he's had a busy day running on the far flank, showing off his stamina in preseason. And boy, is that one of the most important things early in a campaign, is to be more fit than your opposition. Valakari thought about the through ball pass to Chucky Lozano. And now ultimately gets the Mexican on a nutmeg pass, and the return ball, the sphere, will not reach Valakari. Well, he's been active since coming in to finish number 10.
Well, these are auditions, these games, and it should be clear. It's the audition for the San Diego supporters, too, where Lozano, this is really his first appearance as far as they're concerned. There he's on the ball now.
First impressions are important. Nearly another assist for Chucky Lozano. He did get the first for Patty McNair's goal. 5 minutes in to half number 2. San Diego showing their might after it was mostly NYCFC in the first half.
Credit Alonso Martinez, the left winger for New York City, who striker for the most part in 2024, but how he retreated, recognized where the danger area was. That's what wingers have to do in a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. And he recovered well to get into position to deny anything for San Diego a moment ago.
Anibal Godoy chasing down the ball and nearly to perfection. Chucky Lozano hoping to pounce on the scraps. Martinez puts his studs on the ball and drags it towards the middle of the pitch perfectly. 3-on-2 break. What can City create? Shooting chance, not there, and cleared out of the 6. Hannes Wolf, the one who ultimately put the strike.
Now, Hannes Wolf does not adore his right foot. I think it was kind of evident there, just not comfortable receiving and then getting the shot off. And it's reflective of some of the opportunities Hannes Wolf had a year ago. He was a valuable player to the program, consistent minutes, created a number of chances. but it's in the penalty area, finishing off an opportunity like that, where New York City will seek more consistency.
Falacari shoves it out of play. Gray made sure to play dodgeball, not to touch off his sky blue kit. Justin Hack, one of many local players on this New York team from Brooklyn, New York. An NYCFC lifer besides 2 brief loans at Hartford Athletic in 2020 and 2021.
Yeah, that was before New York City had a 2-team, and so it was difficult for those like Justin Hack, the homegrowns, to find minutes, find games. San Antonio sometimes was a lone spot, and then for Hack himself, it was Hartford twice.
Vartson. Cavallo makes up for his mistake, but it's still San Diego ball. Lozano bringing it on to his right foot. Still Lozano, and a diving save by Freeze. Chucky Lozano, a run that is a sign of things to come throughout the 2025 season. You always knew he was going right there, but he still got the defenders to bite for it.
Well, there wasn't Tavon Gray. It was Justin Hack that had to close him down and slipped, and that was Lozano partly making Hack unbalanced, as we see the save by Matt Freeze.
As we get a look at that replay, that's an even better save than maybe my voice gave credit for. Credit to Matt Freeze, 3rd in MLS last year in saves, starting all 34 games. And Glenn, before last year, he started just 22 games in his first 5 years as a pro. Has to feel good at 26 years old to really command that #1 spot in net. Here's Godoy. Switching the point of attack. One-on-one opportunity. Instead, they go with the cross before Gray can get there and help defend. San Diego gets in their own way, and Maxi Morales makes the most of it.
Maxi knows how to draw a foul. There you go. Negri getting the service in. Yeah, Matt Freeze, those limited opportunities. You know, goalkeeper is a unique position. If there's a #1, you rarely get your opportunity. In MLS, it's sometimes the U.S. Open Cup, maybe the Leagues Cup. And Freeze was playing behind Andre Blake in Philadelphia for a major portion of his career. It's interesting, I spoke to Maxime Crépeau yesterday, Portland, guy you know very well, and just talking to him about the friendly battle between him and James Pantemis. And Crépeau is the #1, and Pantemis has to come to training every day. They remain friends even though they're competing, and it's it's part of that goalkeeper union agreement.
That's something San Diego's battling with right now. 3 keepers, none that come in as a signing where you say, oh, that's the starter.
Right.
Cesar Dos Santos gets the start in between the sticks today. But we'll see if it's the same case on Wednesday when they face the Portland Timbers.
Well, Dos Santos is 24 years old. Mikey Varis, he would like to see Dos Santos step up and maybe win the position just because of his youth, the potential for development, because that's one of the credos here for San Diego. They're looking to develop, obviously win, make the playoffs. We'll see what happens in this first year. It's going to be mighty, mighty interesting.
Dos Santos played just 2 first-team games for Miami last year, a 4-0 loss to New York, the Red Bulls, I should say, and a 2-1 win over Puebla. Here's San Diego at the point of attack. Dreyer registers a shot, and before, caught offside.
Well, you see Dreyer, like many modern wingers, he's set up on the right, wants to get it to his left. There's a YouTube video from his time overseas where it shows it shows the 10 goals that he had scored at Anderlecht. I suggest you go watch it because it's some really classic finishes, but most with the left.
Here's Wolf, who, of course, favors that left foot. Finds Bakrar on the overlap. Bakrar has a think, goes towards the back post. Nobody at home to finish. Safe play by Alvarado to push it out for a corner kick.
Alonso Martinez raised his right arm. What a wonderful curling service from Bakrar. He put it right at the elbow of the 6 at the back post, and Alonso Martinez was about 8 to 10 yards away. He raised his hand because he said, I should have attacked that spot.
Cross can be good. but it's not good if nobody's home, and that's on the recipient, not the taker. NYCFC entering their 11th season of Major League Soccer play. They know a thing or two about being an expansion team.
It's rugged at times.
They've made the playoffs 8 of 10 years, but one of the years they didn't get in was their first. They've been a model franchise in the Eastern Conference since, finishing roughly about a 4th place finish on average since.
That one mishit by Johnny Shore with the left. But back to that Baccarat service, wingers, or those set up on the wing, oftentimes they're just trained to put the ball in a spot. Now you want to lift your head up, and if nobody's home, sometimes you want to cut back and take your time to rebuild the attack. But in that instance, he had members in the box, and Martinez just didn't attack the spot. Serve it to an effective area, and then it's the person off the ball. It's his job to get there.
San Diego trying to reclaim momentum. NYCFC had a slow start to the 2024 campaign, winning just 1 of their first 7. But after that slump, they turned hot. They won 9 of 10, outscoring teams 19-8 during the stretch. They're hoping a good Coachella Valley showing can seep into the 2025 regular season. It's quite the first game, Glenn.
Yeah.
They'll face Inter Miami on the opening weekend of the season. The reigning Supporter Shields winner, who have something to prove with a new head coach in Javier Mascherano, Messi's former teammate at Barcelona.
Well, after Miami, then it's at LAFC, certainly one of the more difficult places to play in MLS. Probably the most raucous atmosphere in the league.
Chucky Lozano takes the brunt of a hard challenge that gets some frustrating oohs from the crowd.
Well, that's certainly a cardable offense, I think, but the referee didn't really even have a chat with Martinez.
Keep the ball low on the grass.
Baccarat that dragged him down.
Was Negri on the cross. Godoy resets. He's liked that cross-field ball. And why not? Dreyer. Only one defending him. Try to play an audacious ball into the 18. Taken away in the attacking third. Valacarria, perfect pass to Lozano. Lozano, top of the box for Godoy, and he sneaks it in the side netting. The MLS veteran, an unlikely source of goals, but Chucky Lozano puts it on a platter.
Matt Freese contested. There was a San Diego player in an offside position that may have run a screen. We'll hopefully get a look at it. But what a great first-time finish by Godoy. Perfectly placed. That's not an easy skill to get it on frame and then into a perfect spot. It doesn't look like really there was... Didn't get to really see enough to see where the spot was. Well, actually the flag went up after discussion, so here you go.
That was quick.
Well,
it was certainly quick, so they're going to say that Matt Freese was put off by a San Diego player in an offside position. But Honorable Godoy you'll still get some confidence from that sort of finish in preseason.
Yeah, but he wants the goal, whether it's preseason or not. And that's where this is coming from. There's no video assistant referee. There's no review of the film in any manner. So I think the discussion here is, how did the referee overrule this? Because the linesman did not lift the flag.
The official and the linesman did have a conversation after it happened, so it wasn't a solely made decision. We do have about 4 substitutions coming on in blue.
The only thing I can decipher from that conversation would be the referee asking the assistant referee if there was a player in an offside position, and then the referee would have to decide whether he was indeed obstructing Matt Freese.
Among the heated conversations, the captain, Verskov, will get shown a yellow card for dissent. So Godoy was certainly the most upset about the bunch, and his captain will ultimately get the card. And now Verskov kind of has to do his job as the captain, tell the rest of the side to calm down. Score is what it is. 30 minutes left to play. Still plenty of soccer. Julian Fernandez, number 11, under the near side on the ball right now.
Some substitutions for New York City. Fernandez, one of them, also Micha Ilinic in for Tavon Gray at right back. And Prince Mponsa has come in at left back for Nick Cavallo. And you'd have to say Cavallo put in a good shift.
Yep.
I think he was a little nervy in the opener, Coachella, against Sporting KC when he came on as a reserve. Started this one. Kevin O'Toole inactive today. We don't have a specific reason why, unless it's just a simple preseason rest.
Is this the second for San Diego? They did pierce the back of the net moments ago, but it did not count. Julian Fernandez, good back pass to Parks. One more sub we forgot to include, Tomas Romero, goalkeeper from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Georgetown product, didn't play for NYCFC's first team last year, but did play off in MLS Next Pro, also a 2019 champion with Georgetown.
You don't often see balls played behind to Maxi Morales, the 5'3", 37-year-old Argentinian, but he got him behind Chris McVeigh a moment ago. It didn't result in anything positive for New York City, but it was interesting to see Keaton Parks look up and say, let's get him in behind.
Johnny Shore, one of the academy players who has played this entire affair so far, was named an MLS Next All-Star in 2023 as an academy standout. Romero, not put under much pressure, go out to Hack. Ilinic makes himself an option. Plenty of time, and now his zip code shrinks. Maxi Morales takes a shove from behind, no foul, and then dispossessing the Argentine is Valacari. San Diego ball. And now San Diego will take their turn on the large group substitution. 6 players in total is what I count. I'll be sure to get all those names in for you. Out goes Ingvartsen, out goes Verskov. Their DPs will exit the pitch. Chucky Lozano has a slow walk out. On your screen right now is Ima Boateng, who's actually a product of the Right to Dream Academy who came through in Ghana. San Diego, his 5th MLS team since 2016. There you see Chucky Lozano, who had, let's call it an assist and a half performance with the one goal that was taken away, but he showed well.
Yeah, a good start for Lozano. Got an opportunity to get into the flow and was isolated on a couple of occasions and had that take-on mentality that we've known to grow and love, unless, of course, it's the U.S. men playing Mexico. On the U.S. side, we don't see much admiration for Lozano in those situations. But in San Diego, it's all love.
Lozano, 18 goals in 70 appearances for the Mexican national team, including the game winner against Germany in the 2018 World Cup. Maiten, another product of the Right to Dream Academy. Product of Nottingham Forest. Played 56 games there and also a few loans. He's a tricky winger. Be sure to watch out for him. Fernandez. New York City trying to extend their lead, and that's one way to do it. Martinez in mid-season form with a shot from nearly 30 yards away. New York City grabs the third.
Well, that starts with Julian Fernandez. All smiles there, Alonso Martinez. His second goal also assisted on the Monsef Bakrar goal, so he's been involved in all 3 tallies for New York City FC with 25 to play. But this time from distance. And Julian Fernandez, so he receives the ball and then holds off the defender great upper body strength to carry the ball inside, draw defenders, and there you see the finish. But that's on Fernandez to draw the defense, and that gave a little space for Alonso Martinez wide left. Was able to receive, dribble towards the middle of the goal, and finish without any defensive pressure. So Fernandez with a big-time assist there.
It's a great catch by you, Glenn, because it gave him time for that prep touch, which you need for a strike of that magnitude. Second goal of the game for Martinez. What a goal it was. Will Baccarar get his chance? CJ Dos Santos says no this time around. We'll roll it right in front. So it is an entirely new 11 for San Diego FC from the start of this game. Ilinic wins the foot race, but will have to concede the corner. A player to watch out for, and the youngest on the pitch today, Anis Saidi, a 16-year-old who they did not pay cheaply for. $350K in general allocation money to Philadelphia for him. Made his pro debut last year at MLS Next Pro with Union 2. He's part of the Tunisia U17 national team. So keep your eye on number 29. He's playing on the front line for San Diego.
That was Johnny Shore intercepting for New York City, and as he drove the ball forward on the far side of the pitch, Alonso Martinez was taking off, and he was hoping for maybe a ball in behind. But the defender on that side really had good position, was dropped off 3 or 4 yards. So Shore, I think, made a good choice just to reload. New York City still in possession.
Baccarar's header goes straight to the opposition. San Diego was announced as an expansion side in May 2023. At last, they're playing in front of their fans. I do see them in a 2-goal deficit, but they've shown positive signs. The inaugural MLS commissioner, Doug Logan, called San Diego a prime candidate for expansion back in the 90s. Took about 30 years to get there, but here we are. They hosted the MLS All-Star Game in 1999, and at last, we're about 2 weeks away from the dream becoming a reality. Signed their first player in December 2023, their first DP, Chucky Lozano, a few months later. Finally, the group got together just last month. And now here they are together. They've played 2 friendlies against USL sides behind closed doors. Those matches were not streamed. All the games at Coachella that they will be playing are. Playing the Portland Timbers, who just finished outside of the playoff spots a season ago. The New York Red Bulls, who are champions of the Eastern Conference. That's who ended NYCFC's season a year ago, was the New York Red Bulls, in a game where the boys in blue were the better team statistically, but when you go down 2-0 30 minutes into the game, you're playing catch-up the whole time. Fernandez runs into a finish wall called Valacari. Luca De La Torre, U.S. men's national teamer.
Well, really fortunate we get a look at Luca De La Torre, who is playing a massive role with this new franchise. He's a San Diego native, and that was part of the reason and incentive to bring him back, but we know the level of player he is. Celta Vigo transfer. I think he's on loan,
Yeah,
right?
he's on loan
with the possibility to purchase.
Yeah, with a buy option.
So here's a guy that knows that, because of what Mauricio Pochettino has said, the U.S. men's national team coach, knows that if he performs at a high level for San Diego and is impactful, that's going to help his national team chances to be called in, which maybe was not the credo of the previous staff. That's basically was intimated by Tyler Heaps. And, sometimes it's the urge to go to Europe and perform there. And Adam, we've seen so many players go and not log the minutes maybe necessary to develop.
And Luca De La Torre is not the only move to MLS that kind of fits along those guidelines. Think about someone like Brandon Vasquez, who went to Austin. Not a cheap signing, leaving Liga MX to come back to MLS. And he asked Pochettino, will I still get a chance? He said, why not? We'll see Vasquez and Austin at this tournament a few times. They had a 1-1 draw with St. Louis that completed about an hour ago. But De La Torre, if you haven't seen him much, played for Celta Vigo, came through at Fulham as a youngster. He's played 28-plus games in his last 4 seasons in Europe. His best aspect is probably dribbling in tight areas as a number 8. Here he is on the ball and does just that. Finds open real estate, clipped over. Diop, who's the number 1 pick in MLS back in 2023's draft, and also the first selection in the most recent expansion draft. Here's Ima Boateng. I think he got a hack at the ball, but not enough contact to trouble Romero.
Ima Boateng, you look at him, he's certainly a perfect addition to this franchise that is has been thrust into an academy with right to dream. And the Accra, Ghana native Boateng is a right to dream product as a youth. And I've always enjoyed watching Boateng play, and great effort, dangerous on the attacking side.
Glenn, you and I talked to sporting director Tyler Heaps from San Diego, and a big emphasis of his was the Right to Dream Academy. It's a very unique structure that you don't really see anywhere in MLS. The only academy in the league that can recruit talent from Mexico, which is nice because it's in the radius.
Yeah.
And it's the first academy to offer a free academy that combines residency, school, and training.
That is the dream as a player, right? You get an education and you get to play soccer twice a day, have film sessions and everything on one campus. I mean, it's really, it's been so discussed over the years doing this in the profession of coaching, and that is the model for success in development. And San Diego seems to have that model intact with a wonderful facility to play in, where all the senior team, the academy, and we'll all be together as Fernandez goes down.
Amadi Diop on the tackle that was not legal. Diop won 2021 College Cup with Clemson. Became the first ever Senegalese player to be taken number 1 in a Major League Soccer draft, but he played just 35 minutes for Charlotte. 11 games played for their MLS Next Pro side, but most recently went on loan to Serbia before being unprotected in the expansion draft, and San Diego pounced on the potential and the opportunity.
All right, here from this angle and this spot, run a pick or a block and get somebody to the front post and whip it right in.
See if they follow that script. We'll go a little bit deeper. Good header down. CJ Dos Santos is clawing for it and eventually will scoop it up. Good delivery from Maxi Morales.
Bakrar decent in the air, did the right thing, trying to knot it across the frame of goal.
In your talks with Maxi Morales, what's his desire to keep playing so much longer? Why does he keep wanting to go at 37 years old? NYCFC is still a better team when he's on the field versus when he's not, but he has played a game for this team every season going back to 2017.
Well, he loves being the traditional playmaker. I mean, he is sensational. You watch him in training too, and the passes, perfect. I'll never forget the time we were in training, and one of the comms guys was standing next to me off the field, and Maxi was about 45 yards away, and he goes, "Hey, I'm going to put it on your chest," and boom, pinged it right on the chest. But he enjoys the game, and now he really enjoys being a mentor. And indeed, he's a very important figure for Pascal Janssen, who's in his first year. Maxi is very, very astute in terms of the MLS situation, but also his teammates.
Here's Alex Maiten finding himself in the box for the first time this afternoon. Gets it poked away. Good defending by NYCFC. After that Anibal Godoy goal that was disallowed, San Diego hasn't created much. The only goal in half number 2, a banger from distance from Martinez. Here's Boateng. Tries to hammer it at the near post, and he rattles the cage, but not on the right side of the post.
Well, Keaton Parks, I was about to say, he loves those tight situations right there. Got it back to Micha Ilinic, who was not comfortable in that crowd, and he flicked the ball square towards goal blindly. That was not a wise choice by Ilinic. If you're uncertain, you really just need to put the ball up the field and regroup.
Fernandez, great clipped ball.
And that's Ojeda, fleet of foot. It's one of the fastest players in the league, Augustine Ojeda. One of Janssen's real projects is to see if he can get Ojeda more into constructive, positive goal-scoring situations than he did a season ago. Well, he picks that one off.
Ojeda, just 20 years old, mostly used as a sub last year. Here's Fernandez. Tries to favor his left foot, but probably should have stuck with the right. Still has it somehow, and then Diop will finally put an end to it. And Fernandez, clawing him back by the shoulder, will earn San Diego the free kick.
Well, that's always my contention with this modern-day winger. You go to your start on the right, you go to your strong leg, and the inability to get around the edge and really be able to shoot with the right limits your options. And right there, San Diego was prepared with two players as Fernandez cut it inside to his left. Now, granted, he's very skillful, and maybe he just needs to clear just a wee amount of space, almost the circumference of the ball, to get the shot off. But the inability to go right effectively, Hannes Wolf really in a similar position too for New York City.
Augustine Ojeda, you talked about a project for NYCFC this year. It was not a cheap project. Brought him for about $6 million a year ago from Racing Club in Argentina. Mostly a bench option, 3 goals and 2 assists in just under 1,000 minutes. But there is signs there. His progressive carry numbers are very impressive per 90. He can certainly beat a man. Here's De La Torre. A close-knit circle. San Diego FC, new 11 into the game from the start, testing out their depth, and they're going to need it in 2025. They're playing in the Open Cup and Leagues Cup as well. They're taking Vancouver's spot in the Leagues Cup competition.
Yeah, you talk about Ojeda. I mean, if he's not getting minutes, there's the possibility of a loan situation. I'm sure that's been discussed internally. One player that was loaned, Jovan Mijatovic, another high-priced transfer for New York City, came in as an 18-year-old with high expectations, didn't produce. It was disappointing. There was a meeting after the season, very honest conversation with him and David Lee. And so the best thing for the club and for Jovan, a loan to OH Leuven. Now, they lost today to Club Brugge in Belgium, 1-0, and Mijatovic was not on the bench. I'm not sure what his situation is as far as getting over there and playing, but he wasn't in the squad today.
Yeah, I've been prepping enough for MLS. I haven't been keeping up with the Belgian league quite as much as you, Glenn.
Well, I tend to watch the former players as well. So
yeah,
that was.
I mean, he's a big-time signing. You know, it's just a loan right now, but if he comes back, still, what is he, 19 years old when he joined New York, and a tremendously high potential player. If he goes and kills it in Belgium, brings the confidence back to the Big Apple, why can't he be the starting striker in a year or two's time? I mean, I think at 19 years old, if I just moved to a completely new country, didn't really know the language, it would be a difficult opportunity. Boateng. That's going to be offside as the corner taker De La Torre didn't come back into the right position.
Well, I will say he had the Balkan brothers, Micha Ilinic and Strahinja Tanasijevic. Those three hung out a lot, and they helped each other through any times of tribulation, as well as the rest of their teammates and the coaching staff. So there was some support there for Mijatovic. The idea, though, is New York City got him to develop him, and maybe in a year and a half sell him off for a profit, and that's part of the mission here with the New York City Football Club.
Composed at the back by San Diego. Dos Santos motions right. McVeigh, MLS veteran, most recently with DC United. That press not as clean, taken away by Molinari. A 16-year-old from Queens, New York, who signed an MLS Next Pro contract through 2026. Still looking for his pro debut, though. This, probably the best minutes he's gotten of his career, though, for the 16-year-old, considering he's yet to even play for City 2. Justin Hack.
16 years old. I guess he's the youngest on the pitch today. Is that official?
I have to check the birthdays of Molinari and Anis Saidi.
Yeah. Is he also 16?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I feel old making these charts.
I might have the birthdays in front of me. Let's see here. And then we'll set the record straight. January 28th, 09 for the Queens guy, Molinari. And Saidi is June 20th, 2008. So, Molinari wins.
By 6 months. You have Maxi Morales down.
Well, really pushing the minutes for Maxi here, 80th minute. So, at this point, the expectation is a full match. Other New York City players who have put in the full shift so far are the central defenders Burke Risa and Justin Hack, which gives you the idea that maybe, just maybe, that Hack is the target to start on opening day next to Risa at Inter Miami, with Thiago Martins still unavailable.
Adventurous run by Alex Maiten, showing his talents off, and a good catch by Romero. The whipped in ball needed to be pushed further towards the PK spot and away from the 6. 8 minutes and some change remaining in match number 1 at the Coachella Valley Invitational for San Diego. NYCFC looking for their first win of the tournament after a draw in their first affair. Fernandez working on Diop. Play advancing well out left.
That's McCamey, the big kid that's come into the second half for the second consecutive game, wearing the number 73 for New York City. And, well, he's a guy that was the second round 54th overall selection out of Northwestern, trying to make the side. It's somewhat rare these days when a second, third, or fourth rounder can latch on to a first-team slot.
You're not kidding. We saw Cavallo, the 80th overall pick in the most recent draft, start the game. Now McCamey getting his cameo. The 4-year starter at Northwestern, as you mentioned, all first-team Big Ten as an upperclassman.
Well, New York City's only had a second team, a reserve team, which is now MLS Next Pro. This will be the 3rd year. So there's a place for McCamey to play with New York City FC2, as there is for Cavallo and others, if, again, the decision is no first team. The guy that just threw the ball in, Prince of Ponza, 21-year-old, like Tavon Gray, homegrown from the Bronx. He's another one. Look, he's playing left side at the back. Obviously, there's an audition there to see who is going to be the backup to Kevin O'Toole, who's not active today. So that decision has to be made. Will something happen in the transfer market? That remains to be seen. But for now, Pascal Janssen needs to find some depth in that area as well.
Give credit to San Diego, down 3-1, but the fans they have brought have been boisterous. And this, Glenn, I'll use you as precedent. Is this the most attended match you've seen here so far?
I believe it is. LAFC, the 32-52, they brought up some good numbers, but then the lagging numbers of supporters, I don't think it reached this this sort of, we're almost at capacity in this bleacher we're in.
The game going on behind us, San Jose versus the New York Red Bulls. About 1/20th of the attendance, but after this one, I'm sure the floods will make their way over there. NYCFC trying to keep this at a 2-goal lead.
Also on for New York City, the 17-year-old Zidane Yanez, former Red Bull Academy player, ended up switching to New York City FC.
I watched a video on him. His dad said he didn't name him that on purpose. He just happened to be a soccer player. Nice move on the far wing. NYCFC into the 18. 3 jerseys waiting on the periphery of the 6. Finally, the cross will come in and clear it aside by McVeigh, who has played the full 90.
See, right there, Ojeda, he had the defender beat. He makes the step-over move and then accelerates, has him beat. Now he's got to drive inside, use his body, wedge it, and get in. He kind of slows up to let the defender come, and is that because he's less comfortable with his left than his right? Hard to ascertain that now, or without further discussion, but it certainly looked like he was in.
Valakari had my 10 as an option, will go centrally. Now Alvarado, who started the game at right back, is playing in his preferred center mid spot now. Diop. Valakari was winding up for an over-the-top ball. Alvarado, who came through the LA Galaxy Academy. Ima Boateng on his 5th MLS team. A veteran in the league, but still plenty of pace and a slip and tumble on the far side.
And you see the comfort level. McCamey more comfortable in this game. He had just delivered on the switch in the midfield for New York City than he was against Sporting KC. Youth will be served is part of the credo for New York City FC. And seeing how some of these younger players push on and become more relaxed as a professional. Yanez is one of them.
Pascal Janssen in long pants and long sleeves. He's got to be a little bit hot wearing all black. On the far side, you can see him by the white advertising boards at the top of your screen.
Janssen has been a guy that's he's been on the New York City radar for at least 4 years. City Football Group has been well aware of him.
Made a Europa Conference League semifinal with AZ Alkmaar. Was a great coach there. Over the top for my 10. Romero's not going to get there and just clobbers him. I mean, that's at least a yellow card, and that's what Romero will be shown. Was it inside the 18 is now the question mark.
I don't believe it was inside the area. And I think in regular season play, that could very well have been the old red card.
If you see a red card at the Coachella Valley Invitational, you're not allowed to play the next game is the question.
I wonder what the rules state on that. Unless it's a fighting foul, I would say let's not do that.
Well, 2 New York players are stretching and warming up, getting ready to come in. Good to see my 10 back up onto his feet after a nasty collision that he took the brunt of course.
That's Max Murray, the first-round draft pick, 8th selection overall out of the national champion University of Vermont, and Drew Baera, homegrown. Baera is a right back. That's where he's played through the academy in NYCFC 2. There's a bit of a jam there with both Tavon Gray and Micha Ilinic. We saw him come in and play in the midfield in the opener against Sporting KC here. So he's a promising homegrown player, yet there doesn't seem to be a spot for him.
Saidi and Valakari will have a party of 2 over the ball. Now Valakari will be solo. Will play short to Saidi, tease him up, and a block by the wall who read the situation well.
And Panza sacrificing to make the block.
Dos Santos comes way out. Saidi over the top. My 10, full of energy, will get there in time. Southern California sun beating strong. My 10 showing his dribbling ability. Beats the first, the second is too much. Morales recycles play to the back line. Julian Fernandez there to help.
Well, Maitin is helping his cause, and remember, these matches are really critical for San Diego in particular. You have a lot of, as you mentioned earlier in the broadcast, they've only been together 14, 15, 16 days, and so they're getting to know each other as players, as coaches. It's a coaching staff that has never worked together before. So there's a lot of newness here, and every moment that you can shine is going to be noticed.
Good pull down by McCamey. Molinari. Those two have fun with it. A few pitch and catches as we hit the 90. How much more does the official let on? Feel a bit for Drew Baera on the far side, and Murray, the first-round draft pick, who've been waiting to come in for about 5-6 minutes, but just have never had the opportunity. And they
We've
won't.
got the San Diego fans are lining up the fence here, hoping for Chucky Lozano to come over and do his cool down and sign some autographs.
Well, that will do it for match number 1 of San Diego's Coachella Valley Invitational. 3-1, the final scoreline. NYCFC conquer the latest expansion side. Talk to you soon. More games coming up from the Coachella Valley Invitational.
Juki!